Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha. Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanyatrambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Mahalakshmi Rupena Samstita. Namastasya, 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Hrim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Om Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 15th of June 2025. I want to offer my prostrations to all the great sages and to Bhagavan residing in the Hridaya Akash, in the heart of every single being. With that bhavna, we are continuing to examine the Ātma-Nivedanam Bhakti. Ātma-Nivedanam is the internal or the inner turning over of the Atma, the Jivatma, the soul at the feet of God. That is its real meaning. To get to that point, our senses, our mental framework, our antakarana, our energies, everything that we are, physically, psychologically, mentally, gets tuned to Paramatma and then given over to Bhagavan. It is a total giving of oneself. That is Ātma-Nivedanam. It's not simply like a short-term giving and then taking back or partial giving. No, it is not of that type. It is a 100% samarpan, 100% surrender, 100% offering to the Lord. This is a dualistic Dvaita Bhav worship. It's very, very transforming. But to get to such a stage of Ātma-Nivedanam, there are many steps that are required to be even ready to do something like this. And the simple reason is that our internal vasanas, desires, the demands of the mind and of the body and other things that are going on all the way around us, they are pulling the Jivatma constantly in different directions. So that is the play of Maya. The pulling of the manovritti, pulling of our thoughts and emotions, of our desires constantly in other places, and not 100% in link with Bhagavan. That is the cause of rebirth, the cause of being in the cyclical aspect of the sansar. Now, this process of Ātma-Nivedanam begins with what is called Swarup Nishta, Nishta Bhakti. Nishta means what? Nishta means it's a great faith. It is great steadiness that comes from that faith, and then there is disciplined perseverance, there is consistency, inner loyalty, undistracted orientation. All of this happens. It begins with Nishta Bhakti. Nishta means conviction. The psychological conviction, mental conviction that who is in front of me in the murti form, vigraha form, is Paramatma. That 100% unflinching conviction, that is necessary. Without that, these 9 forms of devotion cannot really develop. There's always some doubt, there's always some boredom, all those kinds of things are there. You're standing in front of the murti of Bhagavan Krishna, for example. To remove from the mind that there's a stone or there's a painting or all those things, and to bring with tremendous faith that this is Paramatma in this form. That is called Nishta. Now, the same thing is true with the scriptures. So, we mentioned it before. There's the murti of Sri Krishna and there's the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is the Vangamaya Swarup. It is the Vani Swarup of that Paramatma. That is also God. Again, Nishta. To hold the Gita with great Bhakti Bhav, with that conviction that every word is spoken by the Supreme Lord. That internal conviction, of course, develops. It doesn't happen just like that. Both of these convictions, Swarup Nishta, or this extraordinary faith in the form, and in the Shastra, in the words that have come by that Paramatma. And that is how that unflinching steadiness comes about, and the devotional practice of sadhana, of bhakti, which has emotional fervor. Fervor, F-E-R-V-O-R, that's a word that means lot of strength, emotional strength, that opens up in the chanting the holy name, in chanting the names of Paramatma with Mahima. Mahima means glory that is developed due to the faith and study and conviction. Then it comes from inside. And that extraordinary glory, Mahatmya, the prema begins to develop towards that Paramatma. That prema towards that Paramatma begins by the recognition of the glories of Paramatma. How does one fall in love? How does one rise in love or fall in love? How does that happen? Because there is attraction, there is something that is so wonderful. They say, oh, I just love the gardens. With the Prakriti we have these experiences. I love the mountains, I love to go to nature, love to go to beaches. We use this word love all the time. Some people fall in love with a place or some big home that they like to move into. They say, I love this neighborhood, right? Things like that. So falling in love means giving yourself over to that situation or to that person, to that place. So in the same way, it is possible to fall in love with God. Yes, it is definitely possible. But for that love to evolve and open up, it begins by recognizing the glories of Paramatma. Take, for example, in the Sanatana Dharma, we have Bhagwan Krishna. So if we say that, okay, we believe in Krishna, why do you believe in Krishna? Then there's a logical process to go through. Eventually that Shraddha comes about. Then there's a Murti. You have an image with the Bhagwan Krishna with the flute, with Radhika ji. And so as an example, if we are worshipping them, doing bhakti, upasana of them, then the internal Nishta has to be there, that this is Parabrahma, ye Parabrahma hai. Now, that's a big thing. That doesn't just happen like that. Many people go to mandirs, right? Mandir mein kitne log jate hai? They come and go, different festivals. Fine, that's a good beginning. But to stand in front of the Murti or to sit in front of Radha and Krishna with so much love and affection and prem, and then to take the name, Bhagwan ka jo naam lena hai, mantra, bhajan, kirtan, like we do every day. With that bhavna, the bhakti begins to open more. And then when we study Bhagavatam, study the scriptures, there's even more and more conviction that this is the Lord, and to connect with that Paramatma. First of all, there is the conviction that this is Paramatma. And from that conviction, that is called Nishta, Swarup Nishta, the emotional fervor, emotional development from within towards God begins to happen, and that gives way to resolute steadfastness. One becomes committed that I will wake up at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, do 1 hour of puja of Radha and Krishna. That's a big thing. read chapter 15 of the Gita, read the Bhagavatam, do these mantras, do these rounds of Krishna mantra, whatever the sadhanas are. Those mantras can be done, bhajans can be done. So somebody might say, I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and listen to and sing 21 bhajans of Sri Krishna. Okay, fine. And then do that every day for 1 year. That's a sadhana. And that's necessary to do those kinds of things, to decide that at this time, 6 a.m., 7 a.m., like what we do every day in the morning here. So most of you come online every day. 7:30 in the morning, USA, Eastern Standard Time. We start our Ganesh Prarthana and start from there. And so the commitment is made to do this every day. Whatever may happen, Jagat mein to bahut kuch chalta hai. Do this every day. So when we do that, it builds up. And those who have been attending the satsang and listening to the bhajans and all those in the morning, we know how it impacts us throughout the day. And it has a force. Our whole day sets in the right direction. So much benefit is there by the consistency of practice. So although Sachin has stated before about the limitations of sadhana doesn't take you to God. That's true. Sadhana is done as a prasannata, for God to see us. That's all. That we want Him. That's why. But nonetheless, we still need to have disciplined practice. If we don't do that at all, then we will just not be able to harmonize ourselves. You see, so sadhana is very, very important to set up timing for sitting for dhyan, for meditation, for bhakti. Meditation is also this kind of meditation, to make a playlist of 21 bhajans or 51 bhajans or 11 bhajans, Bhagavan Krishna. And now they're available on YouTube. You just make them very easily. You can make your own playlist there, and it's so wonderful. YouTube almost has all the information, all the bhajans of all the different incarnations. And make a nice playlist for yourself. In fact, the YouTube will do it automatically. If you keep listening to certain bhajans, it'll create a mix that you like. And then decide a time that for 45 minutes, for 1 hour, maybe in the morning, in the evening. We're already doing it, those people online, in the morning at 7:30. But then this is how this can be decided throughout the day. That every 3 hours, I'm going to listen to 5 bhajans. Make those kinds of sankalpa. And that is how the undistracted orientation towards Paramatma eventually begins. There is a sequential progression. Definitely. Even though sadhana done by ahankar cannot touch God, that is true. But sadhana done without ahankar is our goal. So sadhana has to be done. But the key here is for consistency and inner loyalty. Inner loyalty is that loyalty towards Paramatma, to sit in connection, in communion. It's like people, the worldly examples, when you are married and you have a relationship, right? Then you say, well, we have to have a romance time, we have to go to dinner at this time, and we need to go to a real nice restaurant at a particular time on our anniversary, or once a week or twice a week, and you dress up real nice, and you go, and then you sit with each other and you have a nice meal. And don't people do that all the time? Like today is Father's Day, right? So people will be appreciating fathers and all those kinds of things. We already know how to do this. This same kind of vritti needs to be connected to Paramatma. That's all. You can say that I'm having a time with my Lord. Bhagwan ke saath samay. This is my time with God. How amazing is that? Special time. Very special time. You see, so when we set up that kind of time, schedule it. Literally try this. This is the sadhana for today. Very simple sadhana. Schedule in the Google Calendar, whichever calendar you use, Outlook or Google. Time with God. You can call it that. Time with God. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour. And then decide how to do that. With bhajans is very straightforward way to do. Sit in front of the murti and say, I'm going to listen to 5 bhajans, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then 5 bhajans, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. 5 bhajans, 9 o'clock. Whatever. Set it up like that. Do it gradually and increase. Sadhana can be increased gradually. The mantra sadhana can be increased gradually. We start doing 1 mala, then 3 malas, then 5 malas. Key in that, once you start to go further, try not to go down again. So if you start doing with 1 mala of Namah Shivaya mantra or Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, then don't reduce that. Don't say, oh, I'll skip it one day. Don't skip a single day unless one is really ill or sick or something like that. 1 mala, everybody has time to do 1 mala. But do it at the same time, facing east or north, without any break in that, for 1 year. You see how amazing power develops in that. If we say that we're going to do 1 jap mala of Namah Shivaya mantra, or Durga Devi mantra, or the Ganesh mantra, Shiv mantra, Krishna Bhagwan ka mantra, just 1. But at the same time, facing east or north, it develops. The consistency develops. And eventually we gain very good control of the energies inside the mind by niyama. This is called niyam. Niyam meaning regulatory practice. So these practices are necessary. And in doing so, we develop consistency. And our internal loyalty in the practice towards Paramatma increases. The third thing that happens is that there is, as time goes on, our orientation, our reorientation of the Antakarana tunes with the frequency of the Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam. It retunes to that frequency of the Shastras. And that is what the whole spiritual secret is all about. It is a retuning only. Our Antakarana, Mana Buddhi Chit Ahankar, Manas Buddhi Chit Ahankar, is tuned to the Vishayas, to the Prakriti, to this Sansara, to everything it is tuned to. Yes, we have to live in the world, but to live in the world with the retuning that is shown in the Gita, that is shown in the commentaries of the Gita, that is shown by Bhagavan Krishna and the entire Sanatana Dharma, that retuning to that frequency brings about the evolution of the 9 forms of devotion. Then Ātma-Nivedanam will begin to happen. That we can actually, with so much love and affection and care and grace, we can sit in front of the Paramatma with so much love and then engage in an active process of bhakti, because bhakti is an active process of devotional worship. It is active. Singing bhajan kirtan, taking the names, holy names, doing the darshan. Bhagwan ka jo akar hai. Bhagwan Krishna, for example. Bhagwan Krishna ka jo akar, the form that is held inside the heart. Bhagwan ni murti nu dhyan karu in Gujarati. Dhyan na agranu vachanamrut. In Vachanamrut, Garada Pratham 5. Shriji Maharaj says, Radha or Krishna ka dhyan karna. Maharaj kehte. He says, and then if you are intent on keeping the mind on the Lord, agraha means you are absolutely focused on that. And you want the Lord, you want to be in communion. Bhagwan bhakta vatsal hai. Bhakta vash hai. Vash ho jate hai. Aur wo swayam aa jate hai. Bhakta ke paas. This is called dhyana agraha, meaning to hold that murti. Radhika hai sahi teva je Sri Krishna Bhagwan tenu dhyan karo. But how to do that dhyan? So it doesn't just happen. Dhyan comes later. First comes bhajan. Lots of bhajans. And then the mind is very steady and purified with bhav. And then that murti is held inside as Paramatma, that this is Bhagwan, or you please come to me. And there is a loving bond with that murti. Bhagvat murti ke saath प्रेम का बंधन हम जोड़ सकते हैं. We can bind our mind. The path of bhakti is for binding. Sneho bhaktischa madhave. Sneha means binding. We definitely want to be bound. Absolutely we want to be bound in life, but where? At the feet of Paramatma, in the Swarup of Paramatma, we want to be bound there and there only, and nowhere else. And this is where the trouble begins. We can say, I want God, and I want 10 other things also to be bound with. Then our vritti gets split. But Ātma-Nivedanam is that state where the bhakta is reaching that state of 100% binding with Paramatma, with Bhagavan, with Ishtadevata. 100% binding. That is 100% level of Ātma-Nivedanam. That is the top. And as we approach that highest level of Ātma-Nivedanam, Bhagavad darshan hota hai. Something extraordinary begins to happen. Our mind is no longer stuck inside the 3 gunas of Maya. Guruon ki, all the great sages begin to bless us. Amazing things happen once we reach this. Once we begin to come close to 100% Ātma-Nivedanam. Once we get to 70%, 80%, all the free time is spent in devotional practice. Time is not wasted at all. And more and more and more connection continues and continues and continues. And we still do our duties, everything. But it is done as a karma yoga. Whatever is needed to be done is done. And vritti dives back into that Paramatma again and again and again. Coming back again and again. That's what Bhagavan Krishna teaches in the Gita. He says, you come to me. I'll take care of everything. He says, you don't worry about anything. But just come to me 100%, I'll take care of it. Mai avesha mano imam nitya yukta upasate. Mai avesha mano imam. Avesh ka meaning kya hai? Chapter 12 of the Gita. Avesh means you are with so much intensity, like you're running towards Paramatma, that you cannot wait to sit in front of that murti, to stand in front of the murti, to do the pradikshana with so much love and affection. Just goes. It's like someone who is deeply in love with their lover in the worldly sense. You cannot. I can't wait to see you. I can't wait to touch you and kiss you and this and that and all those romantic things, right? Maybe some people have experienced that. Hopefully, if you've experienced it, you know what we're talking about. At least that is the worldly experience. Now that same kind of intensity, that same kind of prema, that same type of attraction, Bhagavan Krishna is calling that as avesha. But towards Paramatma, mai avesha, in me Bhagavan Krishna kehte hai. Mai avesha manoe mam. Make your mind enter into me in that way. We already are doing that in the worldly sense. Now just transfer that ability towards Paramatma. Mai avesha mano emam nitya yukta upasate shraddhaya parayopetaste me yukta tamamataha. Kitni adbhut baat hai. What more can be said? What a fantastic life that is, where our manovritti, हमारी जो वाणी है, हमारी जो दृष्टि है, हम जो सुनते हैं, all 5 senses are beautifully, without fragmented resistance, connected in the Swarup of Paramatma. This is called Akhanda Vritti, Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 1. Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Ananya Chintan hota hai, Ananya Bhakti hoti hai. ऐसा इसमें से दिव्य जीवन बनता है. बाकी तो पशु का जीवन तो है ही. Like living as an animal, what is new in that? Eat, drink, reproduce, bodily functions, this and that. Sab chalta hai. Rag, dvesh, aham, mamatva. This has no place. This is all out. The body continues, but vasanas disappear. Vasana completely disappears. Vasana transmutes into sadvasana. एक वासना रहती है to reach Paramatma. Only one vasana remains, and other activities continues. When a bhakta reaches a state of 100%, or reaches close to the state of 100% Ātma-Nivedanam, sadvasana, and as we approach that, the divine anubhav, they begin to happen. At night time, it's not like our usual nighttime, all crazy things going on. No. Bhagwan Swayam aate hai raat mein. Such bhaktas are looking forward to going to sleep because they will see God. Do you want to see God? God will, Bhagwan Swayam aa jayenge aapke paas. If we reach Ātma-Nivedanam, go through the whole process of Navadha Bhakti, and once we approach Ātma-Nivedanam, Bhagwan Swayam aate, ye guarantee hai, Gita ji mein guarantee hai, Gyaneshwari mein guarantee hai, Vachanamrut mein guarantee, all scriptures. Bhagwan Swayam aate, isse aage koi baat hai? Vachanamrut Garada Pratham 1. There's 55 hours of recording have been done just on the first two paragraphs in English. And Shriji Maharaj is talking about what happens when you begin to approach even this state. Jeev, Ishwar, Maya, Brahm, Parabrahm, Golok, Vaikunthadik, Brahmapuradik Dham, Tatkal Dekhai. All divine tattvas begin to open up. What a statement this is. Ye sthiti ki baat hai. So we can decide to live just as an ordinary human being with Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsar, and be thrashed and be dead one day. This body will go one day. Or we can decide that we want to evolve into the highest of realization. It's a decision. Chit ki vritti ek hai, bhave tya lagao. Bhave to Hari ki bhakti karo, bhave to Vishay kamao. Chit ki vritti ek hai. It can go in either direction. I've already gone over time. Many, many pranams to all of you. Lots of good wishes for everyone. And today is, of course, Father's Day. Lots of great wishes for all fathers in the world. May all families be united. Lot of love and affection. Love is the only answer. Bhagwan ki bhakti means you love your parents. It doesn't mean running away from parents. Right? So love is everywhere, at all times, in all places. That is our aim. And with that love, respect, affection, care, these beautiful qualities, may they come within us, and may our devotion towards parents also, respect for parents, respect for family, that has to be there. That is also bhakti. And with that, we are continuing our journey further and further into Ātma-Nivedanam this entire month. And then in July, we will start the 10th bhakti. What that is, and I do want to go into the Gopi Geet and some Narad Bhakti Sutra, and all those amazing things are coming up as we move ahead. With that, let's do the closing mantra. Om Divilingaya Namah, Urdhvalingaya Namah, Anandalingaya Namah, Dvadash Jyotirlingaya Namo Namah, Om Trambakam Yajamahe, Sugandim Pushtivardhanam, Urvarukam Iva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamam Mritat, Om Aim Rhim Klim Chamundaye Viche Swaha, Om Durge Durge Rakshini ठा ठा स्वाहा. ओम श्री राधा कृष्णार्पणमस्तु. ओम ह्रीं स्वाहा.